And I am live. That is pretty nice. So today is 25th of September 2025, Thursday, and yesterday was a contest in Division 1 and Division 2 held, and one of the creators was Mr. Dominator 69, but I was unable to give yesterday's contest because of my choices. Yeah, I was unable to give it yesterday. So today I will be participating in that same contest virtually. I haven't looked at any of the questions which were there in the contest yesterday, so this is going to be fairly like not accurate representation of how I participate, because when I'm actually giving a contest, I have right here a pen and copy. I write things down, but here I will be using Excalibur because I want to show, and that is nice. That is nice. With that, let's begin. I would like to stop this part video here. Yep, excellent connection. It says cool. Uh, code forces contests, and also there is a contest today. Yep, Division 3. I will not give Division 3 contests because there are a lot of bad people. Virtual participation. Division 2. Okay. At 11:40, it is 11:36 right now, and I think individual parts register for virtual contest. Okay. 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 We are there. We are there. Virtual participation is going to be on. So there is a contest. Shit. I have to set things up. My bad. Shit. Things haven't been set up. My bad. Emacs attach target contest. Okay. LS MKBIR. Contest number 105553, I guess. 53. Yes. CD 1053. CD 1053. Start Vim. There are also a bit of update. Okay, everything is set up, and there is going to be a contest in 2.5 minutes. Okay, yes, cool. It is very cool. Nothing bad. Cool, cool. There is going to be a contest. Shit. This is pretty much live contest. Okay, cool. Virtual participation. Uh, and also you can give the contest side by side if you want. It would be really fun to see who is like who is where, who's who. Right. 2 minutes. 11:40. Let me write a few things down. My bad. 11:40. Okay. I will also like to have, yes, shit. I do this thing. Shit, my bad. Yes. Now I have a bunch of tabs having the same thing run on them. That is nice. And there is going to be contest, which is pretty nice. Contest, and also Excel draw. 1 minute to go. ITMO, International Trade Ministry, ITMO University. I think it is a university in in Russia, Moscow. I think it is the same university that tourist went to. Tourist, like real Gennady Korotkov. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. That is nice. And yes, the goal would be to get the first two questions right as fast as I can, and then think about the third one. And yes, do at least 3 questions. That would be pretty nice. Yes, I can do 3 questions. three questions because I'm able to solve 1500 rated questions on the streams. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Okay, shit, it is like right there. Okay, why so long? James is learning numbers and he's having fun writing them on a huge blackboard left to right at the beginning. James write once and right after James writes one again and then two, then James writes one, two, three. Okay. For example, when n equals 5, he writes 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. James has a list of favorite numbers 1 to a, 1 to am, and he wants to calculate how many subarrays of array b are equal to a to m. James is already sure that am is a subarray of b, so the answer is at least 1. How many subarrays of b do I know the size of b? Each test contains multiple test cases. N and m, and then numbers 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and 1000, 1000. So answer is always at least once. I just have to see what the base number is and where the biggest number in the subarray is, and yes, if that number is not the last number, and also if the array is not in ascending order. If the array is not in ascending order, then the answer is 1. Yes. Okay. 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 Shit, why is it not here? Into reference x a, and so the next number always exists as in like ascending if the next number I plus 1 minus ai is not equal to 1, then as equals false. If if in ascending order, then the last number is the biggest number, and yes, then the last number is the biggest number, and n minus the biggest number a minus 1 plus 1. Else, if that is not the case, then see out 1. I think I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Okay. This I think I am generally correct, but wait, my rating. Why is this more than 3 hours? That is crazy. Is it? I think that is correct. Yes, I think this is correct. I think this is correct. I think this is correct. B. Okay, two people have done this. Okay, what? I have submitted the same code before. What does that? Okay, I clicked on the button, I guess, twice. Yes, okay, accepted. Cool shit. Okay, hacks are disabled in this column. There is a strip containing 9 cells numbered from 1 to 10 power 9. Strip containing 9 cells. Okay, horizontally. Each cell is either white or black. 0, 1 initially. M distinct cells are black and others are white. M are black, others are white. If a person is on some cell X, he might be given two types of commands. Two types of commands. Cells are white or black. M cells are black. M cells are black. Okay. If a person is on some cell X, he might be given two types of commands. He might be given two types of commands. Okay, jump to the next cell, X plus 1, or jump to the next white cell, that is minimum Y that is greater than X, such that Y is white, and next greatest, not the same. There is a string S of length n consisting of n commands for each I, for each, okay, n commands, a string S of size n, where there are n commands. I command, person starts from cell 1, executes the first command in the string, colors the last visited. Okay, to scroll down a bit. Colors the last visited cell black. If it was already black, it remains black. Executes the first command and colors the last visited cell black. You wonder which cells are black at the end of the process. Print them in decreasing order. He's always moving right. There are 10 to the power 9 things, and colors the last visited cell black. So everything on the left would be black. He will not be skipping cells. Start from cell 1, executes first I commands in the string, colors the last visited cell black. If it was already black, how would it? Okay, AM things are black. Last visited cell black. N and M, then S, the string, then cells which are black, 10 to the power 9. It is guaranteed that the sum of n over output in the first line, print a single integer k, the number of black cells at the end. Second line, print the labels of all the black cells. BAB. B is go to the next white cell, wherever that is, and right now it is a contest going on. You- Logic building is, let me solve first at least two questions, and then I will interact more. Each test contains multiple, in the first line, okay. There are 3 cells in total, and the whole grid in each question is 10 to the power 9 size. BAB, go to the next white cell. There are only 2 black cells, 2 and 5. A, A, B, escalator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is initially black. This one is initially black. We start from cell 1, we execute this command and we go here. I think this one should become black then, and then we execute, go to this command, this one becomes black, and then we execute and go to this place and this one becomes black. So in total answer should be 1 2 3 4 5 2 3 5 6. By last 2 3 4 is not there. So what do they mean by last visited? Person starts from cell 1, Going to the next white cell, which is 3. Yes, goes to 3 and colors 3 black, not 1. Okay, person starts from person 2 starts from cell 1, executes command B, B as in this B, and then A. Going to the next cell 4, this one, and then executes command A. So there are multiple persons. Okay, second person starts from here, and this green one is the first person, starts from here and makes this one black, and this is nothing, this is empty. And then the second person starts from here, executes B and then A. For executing B, he goes there, and I think he will not color this one black, but then he executes A, goes to the next one, and this is already black, it remains black. So this is the state right now. Do we actually have to simulate this? And then the person 3 comes, B, A, B. For B, he goes here. For A, he goes here. For B, he goes here. So in total, answer should be 2, 3, 5, 6, which is actually the answer 2, 3, 5, 6. So now do we have to simulate this thing completely? Can we simulate this thing completely? No, no, we cannot simulate. We cannot simulate. Yeah, no, we cannot simulate. The grid is just too big, 10 to the power 9. Yes, thinking, thinking, thinking. Hello, how to build logic. Have a nice coding day. Thank you. Fourth year student. Yes, no very basic of subject teach me in college. Now I want to crack the internship, cracking the coding interview in 3 months. So what is the perfect and accurate practice I should do? Guide me. Well, I do not have any experience about cracking internships, but there is this book, Cracking the Coding Interview. Maybe that might be more helpful because your time is limited. 3 months. 3 months is a very short time, and you had 4 years. So do not feel sad about wasting 4 years. I am not in the right place to say that you have wasted 4 years, but now you have awoken, and that is nice. Skills that you should learn. So since you have 3 months, so you cannot wander off and be aimless. You have to have a nice strategy for the next 3 months. And for having a nice strategy, you should consult with someone who is like actually good, not like me, someone better. And for that, I would suggest, people say that the book Cracking the Coding Interview is a pretty nice book. You can use that book. It would be really nice. It is by a woman. I forgot her name. Yeah, Gail. Gail. Yeah. This book, you can use this book and not go through all the whole book, but maybe read the introduction and the first few chapters, and that would be nice. Cracking the Coding Interview. That is the best thing I can tell you at this point. And so for this thing, we cannot simulate this. I don't have much time left. This only 3 hours, and we have to return all the black cells. A. Thinking. Wait, since I am on the first cell would only be black if it was initially black, and then how were we able to skip this fourth cell and not make this fourth cell black? It was the second player. The second player went to this place and then E moved and was here at last. Atlassian. Fourth, fourth, B. We have to treat B and A's differently. Okay, B, this one is a big one. Okay, let's go with this. We have this, and initially what is black? 1 and 7 are black, and the answer goes till 9. In this one, okay, this one answer goes till 9. And, and during a actual contest, I would be using pen and paper because writing with a mouse is a bit slow and also a bit restrictive. So initially we have 1 and 7, 1 and 7 as black. This one is black and this one is black. And if we were to go through this thing step by step, if we initially say we are here at A, no matter whoever starts at A, he will go to this place and this thing would become a B black. Then we are at B. And I would ask myself what was the last thing. If the last thing was A, then whoever the last person was, he would still end up here and they would execute this B command and go to the next thing and they would make this black. Now, A. I'm at A and I see that the last command was B. I would go to the next white cell, which is this, and make this black. Then B. I see that the last command was A, then I would go to here. But at this point, I messed up because the second last thing was B. If the fourth person were to execute all of this, the fourth person would first execute A, go here, then execute B, go here, and then execute A and B here instead and not here. This is bad. No. So, so how how many B have I seen? I think this would depend on if I have seen a B or not. Because let's say when the fourth person comes along, the fourth person let's green is the first person, and the first person executes A, comes here, makes this black. The second person, since for A does not colors, it does not matter. So the second person, when executing a string of A's, no matter how many times, they would end up at the same place. But now the second person has to execute B, which does depend on the colors in the cells which have been changed, and the only color of the cell which has been changed is this last one where my current pointer should be. And I see a B. I go to the next white cell, this one, make this black. Then the third person comes and the third person executes A, and A would be same for the first, second, and the third because it is just A. But then the first person, this third person also has a B and then an A. So for A, the third person comes here first. Then since there is a B, my current pointer should be here, and now I'm trying to predict where this person, third person, which who is executing, not which is executing, who is executing this A command would end up at. And I see that on the left there is a B command somewhere, and the only color which has been changed is this one, which would change things. I think I can store the location of the last B. So I'm not doing a very good job here. Got it. Hello. There is a contest going on right now. Hello. A B A B B. If I do store, okay, so every command up till the last B command should be same. This is the only cell which is different for the second player and the third player, because the second player colored this cell black. Second player or person colored this cell black. Cell black. So I can store the look. This is the only thing that is different, and this fact that this particular cell is now black and earlier it was white is only affecting the B commands. And which specific B commands? The last B command. Right. So do I store the location of the last B command, or the cell on which the last B command was executed? So what should be the part of my what things should be the part of my state. LB, the location of the cell which where I executed the last B command. Okay, I will have I, which is pointing like here, which command I am at, and I will have a C pointer which has the location of which cell I am currently at. Initially it is equal to 1. I am at the initially at the first cell, and a set of all the black cells. Yes, a set of all the black cells which is initially 1 and 7, and a set because I can easily insert and delete and also find the next white cell easily in a set using lower bound, using upper bound, using lower bound, using lower bound, yes. uh, Something like that. Mech. And then the location of the last place where I uh, executed a B command. Initially we can keep it equal to 1, and whenever we see a B command we will update LB to be equal to B. Okay, let's go with this, but also there is going to be a boolean state which will say, have I seen a B command till now? Okay, now so I is initially at the first thing we see, it is a command and we haven't executed any B commands, and currently see I'm at location 1. So since it is a command we just move forward, and here we are A and we end up here, so we make this black. Okay, then we see a B and we see that there hasn't been any B, and we now have to execute a B command from our current location, which is I equal to 1 right now, which is C equals to 2 right now, and LB last B, we will also update last B to be equal to 2 to be equal to C, which is 2. And so how do we execute the B command? And I think I'm getting this wrong because I'm uh, the increasing path problem destroyed my contest. Shit. uh CF handle, my name, just my this thing, Jatin Raghav, my name. My approach was set with black cells initially and then insert all visitor cells in a ith per row, but I think I messed up the nested loops logic. Yeah, I'm also trying to use a set here, set of all the black cells, but I'm trying to simulate the whole process, and my optimization is for every person. I'm not starting from the start, and I am just seeing where the last person ended up and somehow using that to calculate where I should be right now. And this is okay. I think. I think this will work. Okay, okay, okay. So now B, we have to execute a B command. How do we execute a B command using our set? And also we, since we made this 2 into a black cell, we will add this 1 and 2 are black cells. How do I see? I'm currently at 2. Just shit, I am currently at 2. So I just need to find the next upper bound of 2. I need to find something that is not in the cell, that is not in this grid. So not upper bound, something that is not in here. I think we just have to have, we can have a different pointer which will move forward and find the answer, and we will keep it as it is. So NW, which will right now point to C. Let me code this. Let me code this. Let me code this. Shit. This is just the second problem, and this does happen sometimes. N and M vector int or red int black is an M I plus plus back dot insert C. Okay, what are the things that we need? The things that we need are IC, IC last black, and have we seen a black? Bool B equals 0. And do we need another boolean? No, we do not need. New W, I will be in internally. We need C, and we need C initially 1. LB initially does not matter, it can be 1, does not actually matter. And new white would be max. Initially it would be the max where we are not including 0. So in NW we can say 1. And is the input given to us in ascending order? Yes, it is given to us in ascending order. So we can initialize this. Yes. If C equals NW, then NW plus plus. We are getting the max out of this thing. And we have our variables B, C, LB, NW, right? LB, C, E, NW, 4 variables. And then I will have inside the loop for int I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus. For this current command, SI equals A. It is A or what? Now, internally, if it is A, no, more importantly, if B, if we have seen a black command till now, if we have, then we will have to go to the last black and execute the next black thing from there. Shit, this is very messy. This is very messy. This is crazy. Yo, some work also in between calls, so contest went bad. Yeah. So that is why I didn't give yesterday's contest. Like first, I would have submitted in 15 to 20 minutes, but I was making stupid mistakes and wasted 15 to 20 more. That is just horrible. So you do not have to give all the contests which are there. Shit, I would have struggled on question number 2 yesterday. But also this is a virtual contest and I wouldn't be talking to chat like people while giving the contest. So this is not a very accurate representation, and also I wouldn't be using Excalidraw. I will be using physical pen and paper. So yeah, I can make some excuses, but it's still I should have been able to solve this in this much time. Black, last black. Ah, last black. Okay, so only the last block is now black, and from that, if I can figure out a way to execute the B command from any given cell very quickly in constant or log n time, I would be a happy man. I would be happy. Is there a function? Is there a function specifically for this? And yes, it is okay to search on Google for C++ things during a contest. So, is there a function in C++ which I can use on a set to find the smallest element that is basically mix of a set? The first mix for a set. Like function sort mix initially 0 and nah, no, I need a logarithmic function. 1000 people have all see people are struggling on this second question. It is not just me, people are struggling on the second question. What is the standing? Where me? Where show unofficial friends standings? I should be here. You were also here. That is nice. I can also see your standing, but I haven't solved anything. I've only solved one question. Yes, you were struggling. You are making mistakes here. I can see that is not good. Yes, I am still in college, unfortunately. I think that the way that I solved the first question was quite nice. I like it. But that is now done. Now the main focus is question 2. A, B, A, B, B. The last B. B is the only variable that is changing for each person. And yes, B is the only variable that is changing for each person. Yes. Okay. Uh, okay. All I need to figure out is a fast way to find this next B. And we are happy. At the end, whatever the current cell is, S dot black dot insert C if B. If there has been a B before, then I need to execute a B thing, a B. Where was the last B? Not this, but the index. Okay, index. Now C equals next Y. Okay, this is like a complicated way to use two pointers, I think. C equals next byte, we will go to the next byte thing, and I will be updating and make this will be my loop invariant that before entering the loop or during the loop and after the termination, NW will always point to the next white thing, next white cell. And yes, since it is always only moving forward, the time complexity is also good. Time complexity is just n because it is always moving just one step, and at maximum it will cover the whole array once, and that is just n time, and that is cool. C equals n. Update to the next thing. Yes. Update to the next white cell and make this initially equal to 2. Yes, because we will not be going to 1 ever. Go to next byte, and then there has to be a bunch of A operations, and the current command is I, and the index for the last B command is BL, was BL. So we have to see how many A commands were there, and then we will execute the current command, and the current command could itself be a black command, and shit. The current command could be a B command, in which case we would have to update our next white, which we would update in any case anyway. So let's execute this string of A's which are there between the current command and the last black command, which is going to be the last black the current command I minus BL, which will give us everything starting from the first A command till the current command, and then we will like remove 1 to take out the count of the current command, and we will get this string of A's in the middle. So C equals plus equals, we will add to C I minus BL minus 1. So we have executed whatever this string of A's is, and now we have to execute the current command. If S I equals A, if the current command is a C plus plus. Cool. Else if the current command is black. Boom. Wait a minute. Okay, it is a good thing that we haven't updated CW. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. There's this thing that something I cannot point my finger to, but there is a B command and then a bunch of A commands, which is the only thing affecting anything. Okay, if B was the last command, only then, if there was a string of A's after the B command, then that B will end up wherever it was. So only the last command matters. If the last command was A, then we execute the current command, whatever it is. Okay. And if the current command is A, then we go to the next cell and color it black. But if the current command is B, then we go to the next white cell and put a finger there, and good. So let's execute the first command manually, and then we will start executing from the second command if S0 equals A. Then black dot insert 2. Else if the first command is B, then we have to find the next white, which is easy to find because we have this, our mex operation, so-called mex operation. Yes, so NW equals, or NW is next white as in like Snow White and shit, not shit, but um, yes, we don't need last black, that is stupid. We don't need black. If A, then we ended up C at 2, C at NW, and cool, depending on the last one. If A, if S minus 1 equals black. If the last command was black, else. Yes, I think I am right. Yes, if the last command was A, then I just execute the current command. If the last command was B, then I execute B command twice. Okay. While C, while C is there in this thing, then C plus plus. Yes, that is true. Then C plus plus. Okay, and now depending on the current one, if Si is A, then we do go on to the next one, and that is just A command executed, and black dot insert C. And do we need to do anything else? No, we do not need to do anything else. But if the current command is also a black command, then we do C++ and we do the same bizarre thing again, and black dot insert C. And yes, I'm not interacting with the chat at all. Ramji 89 added you. I thought it is Ramjet. Okay. Black insert C, insert the black current into C, and that is okay. Else if the last command was A, then we just execute whatever the current command is. If Si equals A, then we move forward by one and black dot insert C. Else if the current command is black, see how. Okay, I messed up somewhere. Redefinition in line 21. Wrong answer. That is okay, but I just want to know, do I have the size right? No, 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 no. No. The size is wrong. It should have been 4774735. Okay. And X in black. Yes, see out X with some space, and at the end see out a new line. Okay. Shit. I do not want to recheck. I think the logic is okay. 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 I'm checking if the last one, whatever the last one was, if the last one was black, then execute the black, execute that black command once, and then write now what, and whatever the current command is. If A, then move to the next cell. If black, then execute the black command. And time complexity is also okay because C is always moving forward. And that is very, very happy thing, but I'm not thinking about time complexity is fine because this each lookup takes n time. This is okay. 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 I can be proud of myself. This is okay. Standings. There is some standing. Okay. 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 Shit. Okay. Yesterday's contest would have been good, I think. 56 minutes. How many people have done it? Where problems? 2000. Okay, now moving on to the third question, and I can relax a little bit for the third question, and boom, we did two questions. That is okay. Shit, I still do not know how I did the second question, but that is okay. Incremental stay. Let's see. You are the security guard of a museum. The main door of the museum is both an entrance and an exit. At most, one person can pass through the door. Every second, there is a sensor that detects when a visitor passes through the door. The sensor cannot determine neither who the visitor is, nor whether whether they entered or exited the museum. The sensor detected some activity in two indistinct moments of time. Okay, so either someone entered or exited, just that is all the information, and this thing happened two n times. For each visitor, his stay time is equal to the exit time minus the entrance time, exit time minus the entrance time, and in 1 second, only one person does this thing, and in two n distinct moments are they side by side, measured in seconds. The sensor detected some activity in two and distinct moments of time. Okay, these are the times. Okay. Okay, so something happened at A1 time, at A2 time, until A2 n time. Right now, the museum is closed, so it has no visitors. You wonder about the maximum possible total is time today. That is the maximum possible sum of the stay times of all the visitors that entered the museum today at second 0. The museum was closed as well. For security reasons, there is also a limit on the number of people who can stay in the museum simultaneously, but you forgot this limit. For each k from 1 to n, you wanted to determine the maximum possible stay time today, assuming that at most k people can stay in the museum in total, and k ranges from 1 to n. Okay. So it is always good. Greedy algorithm. It is always good to add new people in the museum if there is a space for them. And yes, if there is a space for them. And what about the edge cases? Like, what if someone like never exits? N is 2. N is 4. Okay, this is interesting. What if when k equals 3? This when n equals 1, this thing minus this thing plus this thing minus this thing plus this thing minus this thing plus this thing minus this. Let's act calculator calculate. Why is it here? I need to use these numbers. Remember me? Score the world. Yes. I do. You said that scouring means just roaming around the world, exploring the world. What's your CF ID, bro? Shit. Hello. Portfolio why? Shit, you also showed your portfolio. That is amazing. The grid thing and some JS library, which I do not remember. My bad. Shit. Okay. Why is this calculator small? This number minus 910238130 plus 860114890. 582657 minus 6490048. Okay, 78018 Wait, my ID? Are you asking for my? Mine is this, like, I don't know, this one, Jatin Raghav. And 78018 that is cool. And for 2, this thing plus this thing minus this thing plus this thing minus this and this. No, shit, it is better than that. So we can have these two here, and then we cannot, one of them has to exit. This is nice. We have this. So 4, 5, 6, 9. For a equals 2, this guy entered, this guy entered, then they have to exit. This is very small, this is very small, this is very small. Let's add a few new numbers. 12, 15, 30, 31. So n equals 4 for k equals something. For k equals 2, n equals 4, 6, 9, 1, 3, 1, 5, 6, 9. That was a coincidence. 1, 3, 1, 5, 3, 0, 3, 1. This guy entered, this guy entered. Now no one else can enter. So someone has to leave. But whatever the case, these are entering times, right? These are entering times. So whatever the final equation is going to be, these I will add some numbers and subtract some numbers. These two are going to be on this side, on the subtraction, and this thing is going to be on this side, addition. And yes, so one of this person exited, and does not matter who. Now I can take some other person here, plus 9. Now they have to exit. Yes, now someone has to exit. So this goes here, 13. Now someone has to enter, 15. And now they have to exit, 30 here plus, and then the other person also has to exit, 31 plus. Okay, and if we write this was n k equals 2. When k equals some number, we can add all the first k numbers from 1 to k, add them up, put them in like this group, and then beginning from that point, do this, subtract or exit, enter, exit, enter, exit, enter. But how much exit, enter do we have? This thing could flip, enter, exit, or this could thing could even become negative in some cases. A prefix of, okay, so the answer has to comprise of two parts. First, a prefix of size k, and here n equals 4. Now, this calculating this thing is easy. We can just use a prefix sum, but for calculating this part, because here some of these things have to go in the negative group and some of these things have to go in the positive group. And yes, uh, exit, enter, exit, enter, exit. Now then exit, exit. Wait, shit, how can I have 3 exits at the end? N equals 2. So someone exited, there was only one person in the whole museum, then someone entered. Now there are 2 people in the museum, then someone exited, has to exit. So 13 goes here, 6 was also here. And yes, so this will be in the positive group, this will be in the positive group, this will be in the negative group. And someone exited at 13, so now the number of people in the museum is 1. And yes, then someone someone enters at 15, so there are now 2 people and 15 will be in this negative group. And now we have 2 people and no one else can enter, so the last k values will go in this group. So the first k values will go in the negative group and the last k values will go in this group. And in the middle we will have plus minus plus minus plus minus in this range, and the first thing is always has to be positive and the last thing will always be negative. And can we argue that this thing is always going to be even? Yes, it is always going to be even. The size of this thing is always going to be even, because in total we have 2n numbers, and when k equals 1, whenever k increases, so we chop off from this list one number from the left and one number from the right. In total we decreased 2 numbers, and initially this thing was even, so at the end also this thing is going to be even, and that is very cool. So we just need to figure out how to calculate this internal thing, because calculating this and this is very easy. We can just use a prefix sum, but calculating this part is a bit difficult. I think I can use 2 prefix sums depending on the index of this thing. Yes. Since this is alternating, I will need 3 prefix sums actually. Prefix for the whole array A, prefix for the uh, even indices of A, and prefix for the odd indices of A. And depending on the first sign, I can take sum of either all the odd numbers or all the negative numbers, and then the sum of all the even numbers, and add the signs appropriately. That seems to be how many people have done the questions. 1000. Yes, the third one is relatively easier. Okay, seems like this is working. I can remove this thing from here. Message was retracted somehow. This thing happens. I don't know why that happens. Okay, third question. Let's go. int n, yes, prefix 2 into n plus 1 of all the numbers. That is one thing that is required, and prefix odd n plus 1, prefix even n plus 1, or 2 into n I plus plus c into a, and prefix I plus 1 equal prefix. I do not want to write the ix thing, so substitute ix with nothing on the whole line. Ref o, ref e. So prefix I plus ai. That is the normal prefix. How to construct this other one? And if I is odd, if I is odd, think I should not try to optimize here and just go with this, because that is just making things a bit more complex, and I do not have to optimize too much during a contest. If I is even, okay, 0 indexed and 1 indexed. If I is odd, then just pref o I plus 1 equals pref o I plus ai, else pref o pref e I plus 1, remove the mouse, pref e I plus ai. And now for int k equals 1 and k equals 0 and k less than n, k plus plus. Some of the, okay, I messed up again a little bit. Substitute int with long. I didn't even have to use the substitute command. Pos equals 0 and neg equals 0. Okay, positive and negative. In the positive side, we will have the some of the last k elements. Pos equals pref 2 into n 2 into n minus pref 2 into n minus k. Hmm, hmm. Yes, that is nice. That is nice. Let's go with this. Right? That is school, and neg equals pref k. Yes. Now the middle part. If k is even or odd. If k is odd. If k is odd. This is very messy, but this is making sense in my head somehow. Okay, wait, is there some problem with the stream? No, it seems to be fine. Should there have been frames have been dropped? 2.6% frames have been dropped. But it seems to be fine now. Yeah, seems to be fine now. Okay, and now if k equals odd 1 3 something, then I took the first element, and this next element will always be positive, and its index, this next element will always be positive. Okay, what is the range? Range is going to be starting if we are talking in zero index terms, then my range will start from k equals 1. Will my range will start from k inclusive, and from till there are 2n elements, 2n minus k, 2n if there are 8 elements, and k equals 1, my range will start from, if we are talking in zero index terms, we have elements till this. So this last element is not going to be in my range. So 2 into n minus 1 minus k. This is n. 2 into n. 2n is 8 if n equals 4. 2n 8. 8 minus 1 7 to get in terms of this. Shit. Voodoo magic. Okay. Yes, n minus 1 to make this zero indexed, and subtract k elements, and that would be my range. So range would be 2n minus 1 minus k. In this range, this first element will always be positive and the last element will always be negative, and depending on the first element is positive or negative, is even or odd. If the this k and 1, if k is odd, then the sum of prefix in this range is of odd elements is going to be positive and negative. Okay, cool, makes sense. Pause plus equals pref odd starting or ending 2 into n minus k. We can do 2 into n minus k because we are using prefix. And what we do not have to include is pref 2. We do want the kth element in our range, no matter what it is. Odd dot if we, since this is always going to be even, the interval is always going to be even, so it is either odd even, odd even, or even odd even odd, and this thing is k. And when I want the sum of all of these numbers in this range, the index of this thing is k in this case, and in this case k. And can I use the same syntax when I want? And the address, the index for this thing is, let's say, for the index of this thing is 2 into n minus 1 minus k, and our prefix, shit, prefix is wrong, prefix is wrong. If e I plus 1 equals ref I, we update the next one. I plus 1 equals ref O I. Okay, cool. Shit, that was stupid, but now it is nice. So when I go to kth thing, it will have some till this point of all the if I go to pref o, let's say we are going to pref o and we index pref o k, and here we index prefix of odd elements 2n minus k, that is somewhere here, and that is okay, that is okay, it will work here. And when we are looking for the sum of all the odd numbers, okay, so the last limit is always going to be the same for even or odd, does not matter. But the initial limit, if we do start, if we do start the initial limit here, then we are happy. Okay, okay. And neg plus equals ref even 2 into n minus k minus ref prefix even k, else positive plus equals ref if k is even, k is the index of the next element, if k is even, ke 2 into n minus k minus if just the terms I have tabled, this thing is now neg and this thing is now pos, and at the end see out pos minus negative with like this, if k equals n. Okay, this is wrong. Let's submit, let's submit. Okay, I'm not even second checking my implementation, I'm just submitting. Let's see how it goes. Shit. 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 I think I should have given yesterday's contest. Shit. Running. It is running on this case. And after this, I'll go to the washroom. Okay. 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 What are the standings? I would have been very good yesterday. That is very good. Shit. That, do you see? Hebrew. Uh, why did you not make a gym contest, topic wise? Gym contest. Uh, the gym section in Code Forces for all of us, in which you and other participate and compete with each other. Gym contest. Can we do that? I did not know. Uh, Something like this, if when we go to a contest and select virtual participation, I think there is an option where it asks like as a team member. What do you mean by gym contest? I don't get it. First, we have to make a group. Uh, Group like teams in this thing. Okay, I will look up. I will look it up. And the next time that I do any virtual contest, I will make a post on YouTube in advance. So maybe you guys can also prepare and we can compete together. And we can discuss the right timings on Discord. And that would be nice. That would be nice. And I'm like telling beforehand that next month, beginning next month or maybe the start of November, I will be doing a lot of virtual contest participations, and that would be good. So three questions till now, and this is very good because there is still 1 hour and 50 minutes left, and also I am speaking a lot. I do not speak while giving contests, like when actually in a contest. So this is good. This is good. Now grid counting. Clone contest. Okay. 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 I will have to like go to the washroom and I'll be right back. This is good. This is good. Yesterday's contest. Now this is good. Cool. 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 This contest is going very good till now. Very good. Common standings. Who is at the top? Uh, where is the top? Is it Dominator 69? No, cannot be. Okay, shit. This that is good. People have solved till E. I have done till C. Let's see. Now the question number D. Okay, this one. Alice has a grid of n by n size initially. All cells are colored white. Alice wants to color some cells black, satisfying certain properties. In these indices, be the cells colored black. You are given an array A of size n. The following conditions must be satisfied. Okay, Alice wants to color some cells black, satisfying certain properties for each row. There exist exactly k indices such that xi equals k. For each row, less formally, there should be a k black cells in row k. For each row k between 1 and n. Okay. Row, like row. Rows are like this horizontal row. K between 1 and n. There must be black cells xi equal to exactly a k number of indices. Okay. For k, there must exist exactly one integer I, one index I, such that maximum of xi and yi equals k. For each index, maximum xi yi equals k. So we have to output for a single line containing an integer the number of valid grids modulo this number. The number of valid grids. Okay, this is a bit more geometric. Grid counting. Okay, and if I were actually in a contest at this point, I would just like relax a bit more and I won't be like going full blown guns blazing after the question. Cause yes, this is fine. Okay, and yes, I can leave this after making sure that I do understand what is being asked here. But I would really like to increase my rating here. It is 1306 and wait, it will remain 1306. It is not changing. I think it will remain at 1306 and I cannot see my delta. Grid counting. Okay. Yeah, the second one was hard. Less than half of the people were able to do it. But the next one was easy. But the next one, less than one fifth, around one fifth, less than one fifth of the people were able to do it. Yeah, so yep. What were the ratings supposed to be for Dev 2? So we did 500, 1200, 1250, 1250. And then now the current question is supposed to be having a rating of 1750. Yeah, so I do not have to beat myself up for not being able to do the D question because its alleged rating is 1750. And yes, I just haven't had much experience with geometry and questions like this. And yeah, so I do not have to beat myself up for not being able to solve this one. That is nice. Shit, yeah. Yeah, and it would be much better now. Yeah, I guess this is a nice time to end this virtual contest. Now it would be much better if I were to actually make some progress solving CP31. And I am content at my performance here. I did 3 questions. First one in 4 minutes. Second one, what is this? Virtual participant. First one in 4 minutes, then second one is 56 minutes, then the third one in 123. And my standings, if I go to the standings, my rating is also okay. From Greenland, my rating is 1326 and that is good. That is okay. So yeah, now we can just start solving CP31 and that would be nice. That would be nice. Rank is exactly 300 here. So if I do one more question, I will go in top 300. That would be cool. This question, okay. Yep, this question. Yes, am I even audible? Yes, I am audible. That is nice. Yep, I'm in the middle of the screen now. Okay, so this is the next question. And yes, shit, I do feel exhausted after solving those 3 questions, but it is okay, it is okay, it is okay. That is the thing. Stopwatch, Tmux, attach TCP, CD 1500, LS, and yep, there is some update. And yes, before starting CP31, I would like to show something. I was trying to do something with a virtual machine. And that is nice. Let me show you on another desktop. There is UTM. in Mac, we can create a virtual machine. I was trying to do something with this one and it is like bad. So let me show you how you can start from the starting. You go to UTM, and I am not claiming to be an expert. I just did this today. Create a new virtual machine, virtualize fast, but can only run the native CPU architecture. That is fine. And then Linux, I will have to browse the binary, and this is the one, Arch ISO for ARch64 architecture. Here you can see ARch64 architecture. Then continue, and I will allocate only 1 GB of RAM because I do not have a lot of RAM here. And size 32 is fine. 32 GBs. 32 GB is like a lot more than what is required to run Arch. Run, I will name this Arch. There is also Omar key. Now start. Now the virtual machine is starting. That is nice. Let's see. Like, that is nice. Virtual machine, Arch. Now we are in the virtual machine, and I hope you can see this. I think you can see this, and this is very nice. It is running display output. Yes, now we are installing Arch, and this ISO file for Arch is a bit different from the one that I'm used to because I don't know what is here in this one. Pacman, first of all, we will update SYU, and internet here in this one is very slow. I don't know why. It is C, look at this, 25 kbs per second. And I hope the stream is not lagging because of this. If the stream is lagging, you can just tell me and I will stop this virtual machine. But I think it is not lagging because I have only given 1 GB of space to this virtual machine, and that should be nice. And this command pacman hyphen or tac capital SYU is to update the ISO which I'm using currently. And this is going to take time. This is going to take some time. I don't know why the internet is so slow in this virtual machine. There has to be some reason for that. I don't know what the thing is. Or AUR. And what this is doing is it is asking the the Arch database for updates. If are there any updates? Is the ISO file updated? And it is installing the binaries for Arch64 architecture. And I think that might be the reason for the slow speed, because from my side the speed is pretty fine, but the binaries that this thing is downloading, they are for Arch64 architecture, and my theory would be that Arch is not hosting a very good server to download binaries for Arch64, and that is why the speed is slow from their side. From my side, speed is cool. Okay, okay. So let's see. Ask ChatGPT. Why is Arch install slow for Arch64 on any architecture, including Arch64, due to factors like slow, poor, slow internet connection. My internet connection is pretty fine. Slow mirrors, outdated, corruption, or installation, Pacman, SS. I should do something like this. Yeah, speed is pretty bad. Let me ask ChatGPT. Uh, I am installing Arch on a VM for Arch64 architecture, and the download speed is slow for the internal binaries. Is it even? My internet speed is amazing. Is it because Arch is not hosting a very fast server for Arch 64 binaries? I don't know. That is my only theory, and we will have to check it. Shit, okay, that is your internet speed isn't the limiting factor here. The mirror network for Arch ARM uses a few points. Arch Linux versus Arch Linux ARM. The main Arch Linux project officially supports x86 64-bit or x64. For R64, other ARM platforms, the builds are hosted by Arch Alarm, Arch Linux ARM Alarm. Okay, project. It is a different project, not the main Arch Linux project, which is a separate community effort. Okay, mirror situation. Alarm has fewer mirrors compared to x86-64 architecture, and many of them aren't as globally distributed or well provisioned. Some mirrors may be hosted by universities and small community servers or volunteer organizations, so bandwidth can be slower or inconsistent. Why slow downloads happen? If your VM happens to be running a mirror far from your location, you will get poor internet speeds, even with gigabit internet. The official Pacman mirror list for Alarm does not always auto rank like the x86-64. You might be hitting a slower default mirror. What you can do is check the mirror list and manually reorder or replace Arch ARM 64 mirrors. So that is the reason, because this is slow because this is ARM, and ARM is separate from the main Arch community, and this is not an individual effort but more singular. So these are the servers, and the closest to me would be in Taiwan, Singapore, or Taiwan, Taipei, and these are hosted by universities. Okay, this one is by Tamkon University National Center for High Performance Computing. This one might be a bit faster. Andrew Young. Andrew Young. Why have I heard that name before? I don't know. No, this is someone else. This is someone. The one that I thought of was Andrew NG. Okay, these are the ones that are closest to me. Singapore and Taiwan. How can I manually change the servers? I have to go to etc pacman d.mirrorlist and manually reorder the things to the fastest one. Okay, that is something I can do. And okay, cool. But I guess I can let this one slide because this is like almost kind of there and is going to take about 2 to 3 minutes. So we can let this one happen. And then we will change the ordering of the mirrors that we are using. I will first try the Singapore server and then the two Taiwan servers. These are the ones that are closest. Singapore and Taiwan, and that is nice. Location, I can sort them. I could. There are also servers in Berkeley, Miami, Florida, NJ, I don't know, CA, California, FL, Florida, NJ. About 2 minutes are left here, and this is nice. This is nice. A little nice detour from virtual participation. Installing Arch on a VM. And yeah, so this will be nice. This will be nice. And we will be learning a lot. And I'm planning to do a series on installing Arch or configuring Arch Linux from scratch using something like uh, LFS. And this is going to be very hard. This is literally going to be very hard. This is literally going to be very hard. Linux from scratch. Linux from scratch is a project that, wait, Linux from scratch is a project that provides you with step-by-step instructions for building your own customized Linux system entirely from source. From source, not even binaries, from source. So something like we will go to Linux kernel source. There is this on GitHub, but there is also a, yeah, kernel.org. No, no, no. There is a website which hosts the official Linux distribution, but yeah, this is equivalent. README. Okay, it is kernel.docs. So this is the official website which hosts the kernel mainline. This is the mainline tarball patch view diff or browse shit. Okay, back. Browse. This is the official Linux kernel, the whole website thing. Copying credits, make file, maintainers license. Wait, no, this is not it. Tree summary, ref log. Okay, this is a, these are commits. My bad, shit. Okay, these I think are commits. This is the tarball for the whole thing. This is a patch, incremental patch, view diff, git, git. Uh, no. These are all the commits, I think. HTTP link distribution. So yeah, the whole point of this Linux from scratch is we create our own Linux from scratch. And hopefully this thing is done. There is nothing to do, starting full system upgrade. So now we can upgrade our mirror to be at a nice place. How do we do that? Go to etc pacman.d. Pacman.d. Shit, I do not have a text editor here. Nano or Vim. Vim is not here. Vi is not here. Nano. Nano is there. Nano is there by GNU. That is okay. I do not know how to use Nano. Let's see. ls nano pacman.d. Pacman.d is a directory slash mirror list. Okay, my bad. Exit. How, how does one exit Nano? Control X. I shit. What? Something happened. Root log. Okay. None of the keys are working. I don't know what is happening. Super. Okay. Okay. What? Uh, okay. A friend of mine told me that There are things called TTY, things called TTY, and I am inside one of those TTY. Okay, cd etc slash pacman dot d ls mirror list. Does it have cat? It does have cat mirror list, and this is the mirror list. Less mirror list. Okay, at the top we have Denmark, then we have Germany. We need to put Singapore and Taiwan at the top. Nano mirror list. Okay, how do I reorder this? Go there, try reflector through support alarms, or replace mirrors with a closer, faster one. Uh, try. So this is optional. Through support on alarm, bit more is a bit more limited. This is comment server is this mirror arch mirror dot arch. Okay, I'm using the main mirror. It feels like this is the server that I'm using, and this is bad. This is not very fast, so we will use some of these. Let's go with Singapore first. So we just add SG at the start of mirror, S SG dot mirror, and write out Control O. 52 lines wrote, and now exit. Okay, now how do we test? Andrew Young is the guy who is hosting a singular arch server in the whole Singapore. That is nice of him. Use R sync mirrors if available. Changed the mirror URL. Now, how do I think I don't need to sync it is, yeah, it will sudo pacman ssy double yy forces pacman to ignore any cache databases. Sudo is not there. Pacman syy. Synchronizing. Shit. I guess it might not be working though. Error failed retrieving everything. SG dot mirror arch connection timeout. So this Singaporean server is not working. So let's go with Taiwan and then Taiwan 2. Taiwan, right? Uh, uh, Control O to write out, and Control W, Control X to exit, and then Pacman SYY. Okay, let's see this. Okay, this is working, and this is faster. This is really fast. Okay, Taiwan is better. Taiwan is better than others. Okay, so this is working, and now I can install Vim and things. Pacman S new Vim. Pacman S Lua. Okay, Kiss. Pacman S GCC. This will be the real test. And is it fast enough? It seems to be fast enough. Yes, 3 MBs per second is pretty fast. Taiwan is pretty fast. Taiwan is pretty fast. That is pretty cool. Taiwan mirror link is fast. But still, it is like 400 MBs. There is nothing to do. This warning, this local, this is newer than core. Okay, my core is bad somehow. I think the ISO file that I'm using is very, very old and shouldn't be used. And I think this is not the thing that the stream is about. Okay, we can power off our computer like this, just like that. Turn this off, close that. And now back to competitive programming. That was a nice detour. Okay, this is the question that we have to do now from CP31. Let's go with this. Okay, it's been 2 hours. And also, let's see how the contest is going on. Has my rank changed? Is my rank changed? Enter. Solved 1 out of 8. I have. Okay, this is division 1. My bad. This is division 2. And contest is running. And what are my standings? 1400. That is good enough. I think I will end up in the top 2000. And that would be nice. Okay. Yeah, this is good. This is good. And we can start with this, the next question. Okay. Okay, cool. Start. You are given two arrays A and B, each containing n integers. You want to create a new array C following as following. Choose some real, that is not necessarily integer, number D, and then for every I with all the numbers, let Ci equals A plus B into D. Your goal is to minimize the number of zeros in array C. What is the largest possible answer? If you choose D optimally, what is the minimum number of zeros? Maximize the number of zeros. 0, multiply this by 0. If A and B, you want to create a new array. Okay, so output 0. I can choose D equal to 2. D equal to 2 equal to 0. D into A plus BI. This into 2 is 2. This into 2 is 4. We get this. This into 2 is 6. This into 2 is 8. This into 2 is. And how are we maximizing the number of zeros? What first example, if you may choose D equals E by 2. So number of zeros, if we choose D optimally. So this thing should be equal to 0 and okay, we can use a map, I think. we can have D will be equal to BI negative divided by AI, and yes, minus BI divided by AI, and we will keep adding this into a map, and the one which has the maximum counting will be our answer. The maximum occurrence will be our answer. That seems right, and yes, I think. In the second one, this, and in the third one, if A equals 0, then no matter what, yes, and if A equals 0, for that D equals 0. The only thing is, so I can just skip. Okay, cool. This makes sense, and we do not have multiple test cases. We only have a single test case. Int n, cnn, vector of integers a size n and b size n for int I, for int reference x in a, c in x, and same thing for b. And after that, we will have a map of double two integers m, and for int I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus, if ai is not equal to 0, then what we will have is mp minus bi divided by ai plus plus. int answer equals 0 for auto x comma y, or x is like d comma c, as in the count for the number of zeros that this particular d will give us in map. So answer equals maximum of answer, or C out answer. No, okay, that is wrong. That is wrong. That is hopefully right. Okay, this one. 3 is certainly wrong, and there is a particular reason for that. Double. Okay, okay, okay. This might, this I think is correct, but this is like too simple. I think there might be some nuances which I'm not unable to think about, some edge cases here. But anyways, let's rewrite the code before submitting. C in n, vector int a size n, b size n, and for int reference in x in a, we will fill x, we will fill a, and also b, and then we will initialize a map of double two integers. I think the mistake might be in the precision or something, or ratio. what matters is the ratio, but let's go with this. Let's go with this. For in I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus, if a is not 0, yes, if a is not 0, then what we will do is mp negative bi, the current element in b, divide that by double ai and increase the count by 1, and then we will initialize our answer to be equal to 0, and then we will iterate through all the elements, all the available d's that you might need, and the number of zeros that they provide, mp, and answer equals maximum of answer or c, and at the end our output answer. Mm, okay, this might actually be correct. Let's see, let's see. But I feel like there is just something that is wrong. There's just something I feel like is wrong, and you the mistake might be in this part. Yeah, wrong answer. Yes, makes sense. Because the actual answer depends on the ratio, right? And my guess is that the answer that is wrong here, I am outputting a higher number than what the actual answer is. And we can see that expected to found 1. Okay, I am outputting a smaller number than the actual answer, which is crazy, which is crazy actually. If I make both the numbers double, okay, negative sign does not matter. Does matter. Doesn't matter. Negative sign doesn't matter. How to handle ratios in C++? There is the one thing, the ratio library, which we could use, but I think it is not appropriate here because this thing is, I think, a const expression and therefore should be available at the start, right? I think I cannot, this is like bit set and I cannot give, yes, compile time. This is a compile time thing. So I cannot give variables inside here. The same way we cannot give variables in a bit set. The number of elements in a bit set has to be known at the compile time. So we cannot use this ratio library here during our thing. We can write a custom ratio library if ratio is the thing that is messing up. Let's see, we got wrong answer for this. Answer should be 1. Answer should actually be 1. Yeah, these two things turned out to be like very similar to each other. Biggest float in C++. We need more precision, or ratio would be very good. Long double, long double, long double. Let's go with long double so that we have more precision. And wherever we are using double, substitute that double with a long double. And let's see. Let's test this. G++ D 0 tab output output. The test case in which we got a wrong answer was 3 0 laptop going to die, 5 7, and then 0 10 13, and answer now is 1. So that is good because of long double. Yeah, I thought the precision might be the problem, and it was the problem, so we can fix that since we know it. Let's see if it works now, because there is no higher precision in floating point realm than long double, and it is still messed up. Even though it is giving the right answer here, it works on my machine. Compile /out 3057 0 10 13. Answer here, which my code is outputting, is 1. Wait, answer is 2. How expected 2 found 1? I am outputting a smaller answer. That is crazy. How? Which value of? Huh? That is crazy. Like, really? The not shit. Okay, okay. Because this is 0 0 0. Shit. Okay. Makes so much sense. Makes so much sense. So I didn't actually make any change. Both the things are already 0. So else, if not bi, if bi is also 0, then answer plus plus, or not answer plus plus, and answer equals 0 initially, and zr equals 0. And here we will be updating this zr number, the number of zeros, answer plus equals zr. And that is nice. If we compile dot slash out, there are three things: 0 5 7 0 10 13, and the answer is now 2 and should work. Let's see. Test 5 18. Okay, that is a big jump. Okay, there are a lot of test cases in this one. I think it is because of long double, and since we used long double here, so we are good. We are good. This took 15 minutes, let's say 16 minutes, and that is okay. That is okay. That is fine. Quality of mercy. Okay, I'll be right back, and I will have to go to the washroom. I'll be right back. Shit, I just saw. 本気でいるび海賊王になる男だ。Yeah, I'm back. And let's do some more CP31 questions. But before that, we have to analyze this one. Why did I submitted this wrong twice? Because I was not thinking about the edge cases, and I knew I was not thinking about the edge cases. Yeah, I went a little light with this one. That is a stupid mistake. So tags, and let me guess the tags. Tags are going to be maths, just like maths. This is simple math thing, math and implementation data structure. Yeah, math and number theory. This was very simple. This was literally very simple. I don't know why this is 1500, but this was very simple, even though I submitted this like wrong twice because of my stupidity. But this was very simple. Let's see the tutorial. Shit, these are by Mr. Mike. D. This was D. Why was this D? In Division 3, this was D. Let's go with this. This was by Mr. Bled Dest. He's a nice guy. For each I and n, let's try to find out which D we should use in order to make I element of C equal to 0. If A equals 0 and then C equals BI, C equals BI, no matter which D we choose. So we just ignore this index and add 1 to our answer if BI equals 0, if BI equals 1. Otherwise, we could choose D equals negative BI by AI. Let's calculate the required fraction for each index, and among all the fractions, find the one which fits most indices. This can be done, for example, using by storing all fractions in a map. Ah, yes, I could have, instead of using double, I could have stored pair. No, pair. But then fractions, I would have to reduce them, find their GCD and reduce them as much as I could. Yes, find their GCD and then divide both of them by their GCD and put the first element B as the first element, BI divided by the GCD of BI and AI as the first element, and the second element would be AI divided by the GCD of BI and AI. The only thing that is left to analyze is how to compare the fractions, because floating point numbers may not be precise enough. But in this case, we are using long double. Yeah, the precision was also my concern, but somehow we went past it. May not be precise enough. Let's store each fraction as a pair, x and y, where x is the numerator and y is the denominator. We should normalize each fraction as follows. Firstly, we reduce it by finding the GCD of x and y, divide x by GCD and put it as the first element, and second, and okay, then divide both the numbers by the divisor, the GCD. Secondly, we should ensure that the numerator is non-negative, and if the numerator is 0, then the denominator, wait. Secondly, we should ensure that the numerator is non-negative, that the numerator, why? Because we are looking for the GCD. Okay. So that should be the first thing, right? And if the numerator is 0, then denominator should also be non-negative. This can be achieved by multiplying both numbers by -1. Yeah, that is fine. That is fine. Normalize this pair. Yeah, refresh. This one is done. That is nice. This rank should also be updated in a while. This updates every 1 minute. Wait, why is this not green? Okay, now it is green. That is nice. The rank will also be updated in a minute. Okay, now a few more questions. Yes, a few more questions. A few more questions. And there is a update in OBS. That is just an update in OBS. 30 FPS, 2 hours and 25 minutes. And shit, I do not want to solve more questions, but we will solve more questions till 3 o'clock. Like I will stream for at least 3 hours, and it is like 35 minutes are left. So I have to solve more questions. Let's start the timer and solve more. Lunar New Year is approaching, and Bob decides to take a wander in a nearby park. 3 seconds, that is a lot of time. The park can be represented as a connected graph with n nodes and m bi-directional edges. Okay, m edges and n nodes. This is a graph. Initially, Bob is at node 1 and he records 1 on his notebook. He can wander from one node to another through these bidirectional edges. Whenever he visits a node not recorded on his book, he records it. After he visits all the nodes at least once, he stops wandering. Thus, finally, a permutation of nodes is recorded. Wandering is a boring thing, but solving problems is fascinating. Bob wants to know the lexicographically smallest sequence of nodes he can record while wandering. Okay, Bob thinks the problem is trivial and he wants you to solve it. A sequence X is lexicographical. So just always go to the next smallest node and everything is not going to be connected. Yeah, shit. Okay. Whenever he goes to a next node, only then, whenever he goes to a node that he hasn't visited yet, that is the time when he notes the node down. This is easy. This is not easy, but yes, I do have a theory of how we can achieve this thing. The next n lines, m lines are the things, and this is also going to be compartmentalized because this is not a tree, so every node is not connected to every other node. And wait, what? And test cases? No, we do not have test cases. And n and m, c in n and m, and yep, vector adjacency list. Vector of int adj size n, and yes, that is it. For int I equals 0, I less than m, I plus plus, int L and R, the left and the right node, C in L, C in R, and ADJ L dot push back R because R is connected to L, and same R, LR is connected to L and L is connected to R, push back L, and we will also need a bit set, and the size is going to be range. What is the maximum number of m n that we can have? This 10 equal to 10 power 5, equal to 10 power 5. So const int range equals 1e5 plus 1. Range visited, everything is initially false. Now we will have a set of integers for the possible next nodes, and initially the next node always is going to be 1, the first node, and we will also have string answer initially empty, while not next dot empty. I think empty is a function. Now first of all we will put the current node into our answer. So answer plus equals the current node, which should be at the top. So int or auto id equals next dot begin. That is the node with the smallest number. We will put it into our answer. Answer plus equals go to it. So this number. And for this node, what are the other nodes that I can visit is the thing. So for all the nodes which I can visit using this thing, for int x in adj go to I, if not visited x, if x is not visited, then next dot push next dot insert x, and also visited x equals true. And I made a mistake here. Visited 1 equals true, and see out answer with a new line. Is there some edge case that I might be missing? Yes, I am missing, apparently. And that is next dot erase this iterator. That is also a valid answer. Shit, I messed up somewhere. Can fix that. That is like completely messed up. So next dot insert number. Insert number 1. Is the LSP saying something is wrong? No, LSP is not saying anything. So stop the LSP and see out visited 1 equals true. And is the manner in which I'm taking the input correct? Yes, the manner is completely mannerful. Visited x n plus 1. Okay. Here, answer plus equals uh, okay, not a string, but okay. Reserve n, yeah, reserve size n, and here answer dot push back. What do I do? And it's going to be the maximum value for the answer. This is nice. For int I equals 0, I less than answer dot size I plus plus output answer I space new line depending on I equals answer dot size minus 1. Okay, this seems to be correct. This seems to be working. I think this is correct. And just before submitting, let me rewrite the whole thing. Just so I know that I got this right. Bit set of size range. It will be called visited. And here const in range is 1e5 plus 1. And then we will take an input n and m, c in n, and m is the number of edges that we have. And we will use a made adjacency list representation to store the edges. we will call it ADJ. The size is going to be n plus 1 vector int. You just initialize it, and then int L and R for each of the edge, int I equals 0, I less than m, which is the number of edges. We have C in L and R, and we'll put that into our adjacency list. L dot push back R and ADJ R dot push back L. And now we need a few things. First of all, vector, integer, answer, and answer dot result size n, and then we will need a set of integers. We will call it next, and initially the next thing is 1, and we will put visited 1 equals true, and we will have a loop while not next dot empty. While next is not empty, what we will do is answer dot push back go to IT. What is IT? IT is the first smallest number and visited. In next iterator, next is next dot begin. So push that into the answer, and then we will go through all the nodes x, which are connected to this current node, which are in this ADJ, go to I vector, and if not visited x, if x hasn't been visited till this point, then put x as visited, and next dot insert x, put x as a candidate, possible candidate, which we can visit now, and then next dot erase IP. Time complexity is fine, 2n log n at maximum, which is just n log n, and then for int I equals 0, I less than answer dot size I plus plus, see out answer I, and then a space or a new line depending on I equals answer dot size minus 1. Okay, correct. Select everything, copy, paste, submit. Let's see. This should be right. I don't know. So that is pretty cool. Okay. That is very good. Or maybe not. Or yes, maybe. Okay, good. That is nice. That is good. 15 minutes. 14 minutes something. We can round off to 15. 15 minutes for this question. That is very good. That is very good. And what are the things that I have learned from this question? This was a simple one. This was not very hard. This was not very difficult. This just used a basic concept. I knew what lexicography is. Lexicographically smaller means, and beforehand I knew this. And I know how to traverse in a graph. Like basics of how to traverse in a graph. So this is nice, and this was also easy to visualize, so that was cool. And let me guess the tags. I think the tags are going to be gr graph, and then BFS, I guess. DFS and similar, yeah. Graphs, greedy, shortest path, and yes, that is cool. Let's see the tutorial for this one. That is absolutely amazing. Yep. Wait, is the stream okay? That is the question, and the stream seems to be okay. 3,784 frames have been dropped. It is pretty much very okay. Shit, I still have this thing which I can put up. That is nice. This is question number D. This one, time complexity M log n. That is nice. I'm log n. In fact, you don't really need to consider the path Bob wanders. A priority queue is enough for this problem. Yes, priority queue. I was using this set as a priority queue. When Bob visits a node, add its adjacent nodes into the priority queue. Every time he visits a new node, it will be one with the smallest index in the priority queue. Yes, that is the basic idea. So that is nice. That is nice. That is really nice. Refresh. The rank should also be changed. Yes, that is nice. Now let's do one more question. What is the time? 2 hours and 42 minutes. I think I can do one more question in that time. Let's see. In division and union. Why do these questions have like small statements? Let's do this one. There are n segments. L and R inclusive. You should divide all segments into two non-empty groups in such a way that there is no pair of segments from different groups which have at least one count points, or say that it is impossible to do so. To do it, each segment should belong to exactly one group. To optimize the testing process, you will be given multi-tests. To optimize testing process, you will be given multi-test. Okay, I don't know what that means. If n there are n segments, you should divide all segments into two non-empty groups. All segments into two groups. Okay, I have a segment. I have to divide this segment into two non-empty groups. One segment goes here, one segment goes here. Okay. Not like I have to break each segment into two groups. In such a way that there is no pair of segments from different groups which have at least one common point. Okay. Otherwise, say it is impossible to do. I have this many test cases, n, and then lines. And each segment, this is the ith segment, and segment starts from Li to Ri. Yeah, okay. Two segments, 5 and 3. I will be given multitest. What does multitest mean? I don't know. But okay. Okay, what do I have to output? Output for each query for each segment in the same order as input equals to 1. Uh, this one is in group 1, and this one is in group 2. Okay. So I just have to see if I can. So the first one is going to be in some group. Then I will take another segment and I will see is it overlapping. If it is overlapping, I will put it in another group, and if it is not overlapping, I will put it in the same group, but the time complexity is going to be n square if I were to do that, and that is very bad. overlapping only depends on left and right. Right, and yes. So when I have segments like this, I can sort these segments according to their left and right index. Yes, firstly depending on their left index, and okay, makes sense. Whenever I see a left index, whenever I am at a left index, I will find the shortest segment that ends with the same left index. And if there are segments in between here, then they must belong to the same group. And if I do find some things here, then they wait a minute. Okay, I'm back. My bad. Yes, I am back. And yes, I think this question is also solvable. Of course, it is solvable. But yes, I think the algorithm that I have in my mind is good. It is good. It is good. I will look for the smallest left part of a segment, and yes, and then I will go to the segment which starts at that left index but has the smallest right index, and in this range I will see are there any other segments, and if there are any other segments, then among those segments I will keep track of the right index, the maximum right index, and then yes, I will just keep updating this right pointer till which I have to go. And yes, and then if there comes a point when I have reached, this right pointer will always keep moving to the right. And if there ever comes a point where the left index of a pointer is to the right of this right pointer, then all of these segments are going to be in one group, and yes, all these other segments can be in another group. But shit. Yes, no, that is right. 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 Yes, so it is like sort of taking union of things on the left and things on the right. And if there is such a union where there is some like little space in the middle, then all the things on the right are going to be in one group and all the things on the left are going to be in another group. That is nice. Okay, that is what we need. And this is some voodoo magic. Look at this. Shit, sometimes things in the middle go away like this. Look at this. Here, here. Cool. That is cool. Okay, I think we can do this one. That is nice. Shit. Stream health. Okay, let's do this one now. But there are multiple test cases. So int n, cnn, vector of pairs, int p, uh, seg, size n, and pair of integers for int I equals 0, I less than n, not left shift n, I plus plus, cn, cna I dot left and ai dot right. And now we will be using some iota thing and ii size n and iota fill this vector ii dot beginning to end starting from number 0. And now we would like to sort this depending on the way that we have gotten these segments, and they are in no particular order. I think nope, they are not in any particular order. Sort ii dot begin and ii dot end using a reference seg int I int j, and yes, if seg I is not equal to seg j dot first dot first in ascending order and then in descending order makes sense. If they are not equal, then seg, then return seg I dot first is smaller than seg j dot first. Else, if that is not the case, if they are equal, then seg j dot second or seg I dot second greater than seg j dot second. The first index is going to be sorted in ascending order and the second one is going to be sorted in descending order. And this is nice. This is nice. Initially we will say int l equals seg ii 0 int f as in like first group -1 seg I 0 dot first and int r equals seg I 0 dot second, and this is our range. While no, int I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Yes. I less than 0, and now we are at some particular element and we will update I accordingly. And yes, we are at some particular element and we need to see, is there yes, so left limit is for this AI seg I dot first, and right limit is seg I dot second. We have the left and and the right limit, and we want to see, is there some, and yes, we will not go to the last element. We will not go to the last element. And what we need to see is, yes, in this range of left and right, we need to put I equal to the, like, we have left pointing to some place, right also pointing to some place, and this segment is the biggest segment that we have. But we need to check if there are other segments which start inside this segment. And if they do, if there is such a segment which starts inside this segment, then we need to find a segment whose initial point is closest to a right point. So we need to find some segment X whose this initial point, like first point, is smaller than equal to R, this segment. And we can use binary search. We cannot use binary search. R, we can just manually move. Yeah, we can just manually move. Okay, and we will exit if we ever find out that in this range there are no segments, and if there are no segments in this range, or when the next segment is outside the initial point for the next segment is greater than R, then okay. So for the next segment is going to be, so if R is smaller than the starting point for the next segment, I plus 1 dot first, this is the starting point. If the starting for the point for the next segment is smaller than the range, uh, this, yeah, this might still mess up. This might still mess up because now we cannot choose anything from this range. We are done with this range, left and right. So whatever we need has to have its right. Yeah, we need to find the furthest right point now. Yes, but only if the next right point is to the right of the end point for this current segment, the furthest right that we can go, then we have answer, and first equals I first equals I, and shit, this is also messed up. Okay, no, vector answer, vector of integers called answer size n, and yes, Yes, we won't have first, and we can say that everything belongs to group 2. Break, and before breaking, answer for I, this current 1 belongs to the first group, so 1, and then break. Else, if that is not the case, then put the current I into group 1 and not just this. While, so we need to find two things. We need to find the furthest right index, right side of any of the segments which are in this range, and put our I to that thing, or I minus that index, because I will be increased by 1 here. So that is something that is needed. And yes, I am just tripping right now. I don't know, I feel exhausted a bit. I guess because I sort of gave a contest there. Okay, okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I can do this. Okay. I plus plus, and then in this range, if we do not have the current answer, then we can just not move to the next element. That would be wrong. That would be a bit wrong. Or maybe, yeah, this is fine. This is fine. Wait, no, we can just, can we just not? Shit, I think since L and R are not very big, we could also iterate through all the numbers from 1 to n minus 2, from 1 to 2 into 10 power 5, and see if there is any point which is dividing all the segments into two parts. And if there is such a point, then we have our answer. If there is such a point, then we have our answer. So we can keep a counter I which keeps moving forward till this point. And how will I keep count? So I need two counters, 2 pointers. One pointer will go from range 1 to 2 into n power 5, and another will go from, will be keeping track of how many segments are to the left of this current point and how many are to the right of this current point. Yes, yeah. Okay, this thing is kind of basically the same thing which I'm doing here. So this is also nice. Now, after this, I have the left limit and the right limit. What? Now we need a while loop. While I is smaller than n, and while I is smaller than n, and The first seg I I I dot first is smaller than or equal to R. If the next one is part of the current segment, then just keep on moving. I think we won't even need all of that. We can just do this part alone. And here say I equals 0. So while and R, we can put R and R equals seg I 0 dot second. Yes, second. Yes, yes, second. And then internally, R equals maximum of either R or so we can just move on to the next one. So I plus plus we do yeah, I plus plus and maximum of R I less than n minus 1. We do not want to go to the last segment. R I dot second. We want the maximum right range. I think that should be enough. Now if I equals n minus 1, that is it exited because of this thing. And then C out minus 1 with a new line. Else if it didn't, then for int I equals and also put seg I in group 1. Go to the next one and update. Wait, I can do it here. No, wait, this is wrong. Answer I equals 1. This is in group 1. And here we are doing I plus 1. Is the next one also here? And if it is, then move on to there. I plus plus, update the maximums. And after updating, answer I equals 1. Put the next thing also in group 1. And if there are only 2 reasons why we might exit, when I becomes equal to n minus 1. And that would mean everything is in group 1. That is kind of messed up. Not answer I, but I. There is a buffer of difference. I0, I less than n, I plus plus, C out, answer I, space, new line, I equals n minus 1. This is wrong. This is wrong. A was not declared. That is very, very true. A was actually not declared. We have seg instead of A, and why is this wrong? Dot left, seg I dot left and seg I dot right. So what is the problem? No member left. It is a pair, P-A-I-R pair. So seg I is a pair. LSB start blank D, and yes, I was not looking at the chat at all. Hello. No member function in pair left and right. Yes, of course. No member function pair left and right. They are called shit. Yes, they are called first and second. LSP stop. Yes, wrong answer. Okay. -1 was good, but here I messed up. Okay, this one is wrong. This part is wrong. Yes, because of this. There has to be the layer of buffer. Okay, this is still wrong. This is still wrong. First two have to be in a separate layer, and the next one has to be in a separate group. So this also works. This also works. Okay, so my solution might actually be correct. Let's see. No, I don't know. I feel exhausted at this point. Let's get see if this is going to work in Q. Why if it is still in Q? Okay, it is still in Q. Shit. Running at least. Running on test 2 and wrong answer on test 2. Okay. Wrong answer on test 8. 50. Shit, it is seems to be correct. Seems to be working somehow. Huh? Okay. So this is working. That is strange. You can stop the timer and write 32 there. That is pretty good. Shit, because I used very little part of my conscious brain to solve this. Huh, that is very nice actually. That is actually pretty nice. 286, and so that was pretty cool. We gave a contest. Let's see how the rating is for the contest. Only rated? Nope. All. Shit, virtual contests are not here, I guess. Yeah, virtual contests are not here. So where do I see this one? Enter. Okay, it is still running. What are my standings according to this? 1800. Yeah, yes, if I did give yesterday's contest, it would have been pretty cool. Cool. Yeah, I guess I would have broken the limit and I would be a specialist. Yeah, specialist at this point, but that is fine. The next contest is on 3rd of October, and I will be giving that. That is nice, and we did 3 questions today. That is also nice. These three, 1, 2, 3. And for today, this will be the end of the stream. And thank you for being here. Bye.